The thought of spending 4 days stuck in Johannesburg was driving us crazy. So Mark and I decided to go off on safari to the Kruger National Park. Even though it's a 5-hour drive, we knew it was going to be worth it. Even the drive itself wasn't so bad, with excellent roads and varied scenery along the way. Our first night was going to be spent at the Bongani Mountain Resort, 7 kilometers off the beaten track. We came across the first of many warning signs advising us that this was dangerous territory. Enter at your own risk. The vista overlooking the Kruger Valley was just breathtaking, and being late autumn, the weather was ideal for touring. After half an hour of steep, windy roads, we arrived at our resort nestled in the mountain top. We would soon discover that Bongani, although isolated, had all the essentials of a luxury hideaway. Right now though, I was more interested in checking out the idyllic bush-style landscape before checking in to one of the 20 cabin-style rooms. Having unpacked my bags and freshened up, we enjoyed a sumptuous afternoon tea, just prior to us heading off for our late afternoon safari at 4 p.m.
What do you like us to show you? Because we're living in this area, living with the animals. Animals, they know us. We can speak loudly, they don't have a problem. Once you're starting to do that, and then they do have the problem, because they start recognizing you as a human being. Very nice meat, with lots of sour things. This is the .375 raffle, Holland and Holland. Starting to use this quite often in a bush, that means it's too bad for you, because they will sign you off. It's where we get to the sweetfeld grass. It's where we normally find the general game, zebras, impala, giraffes, all the animals, even the rhino. So those mountain containing the tall grass, that we call it the sweetfeld grass. So lots of animals, they don't like that, they like the sweet grass. Okay, only the elephant and some buffaloes, they can rely on that kind of grass. Driving out there mission.
Before seeking out the animal hotspots, our guide took us to a lookout point where we could oversee much of the game park that we would soon be exploring.
But it smells like, just like. The name of the tree, interesting, is the name. This is what we call the wild dagga. Marijuana. The wild marijuana. Beautiful landscape down at the bottom. All the mountain range from Libomba, via towards Mozambique.
Our game spotter had seen some elephants grazing on a distant hillside, so we left the safety of the vehicle in order to get a better view. thanks to a good telephoto lens, it was as if we were right there with them. There were a few eagle eyes in our tour group as well, and it didn't take long to spot other wildlife nearby. Unfortunately, sunset came all too soon, but we were about to be pleasantly surprised by the extensive arrangements made for aperitifs, and then a substantial bush dinner right here in the middle of Kruger National Park. It was an interesting topic of conversation that, with no fences around us, we ourselves were at risk of becoming the dinner menu. After a good night's rest, we were eager for the morning safari. Right from the start, we could see this was going to be a great day. We had almost seen more game before sunrise this morning than the whole of the night before.
It's an alarm call.
We were getting so close to the rhino, we could almost touch them. But that probably wouldn't have been such a good idea.
Another rhino bull. The rhino bull can fight with him, but it can't reach the higher position. That's the older male from Correct. Now the world have started to put the trust on this cross. In the ground they have a bulb like potatoes. That is the main plant that they use to calm down the people who are living with AIDS, HIV. They can boost your immune system when your immune system is lower down. You take the bark off, and the inside you just chop it and dry it. You crush it as a powder 3 times a day, just to take a half of a teaspoon and to the cup of with the cup of water, the warm one, and then you drink it until you find a good drug to stop that, destroy the HIV.
We thought going through the thickets was rough enough, but the steep rutty track we went up next amazed us. We could hardly believe the agility of the Land Rover with a dozen people on board. And our guide certainly knew how to get every last ounce of performance out of it.
Very tall animal, big eyelashes, beautiful. I think they've lost their baby. So the favorite food for a giraffe is the acacia tree with thorns, and they have the very long tiny leaves from the tree. That tree over there, yeah, you can see on the tip of the tree. They've been grazing by the animal. That's the giraffe. Careful, the lions behind you!
Whilst we'd gained an appetite to see more game, our appetite for breakfast was even greater. Lucky for us, there was a sumptuous buffet breakfast ready on our return. We weren't the only ones feeling hungry, and the local monkeys were cheeky enough to come and be hand-fed on the balconies of our chalets. Well, it was time to freshen up and pack up, because we were off to Bongani Sun Resort at the edge of Kruger National Park. We had enjoyed our time at Bongani, but we'd heard so much about Kruger itself, we had to make the effort to get there. Our captain, who had already been at Bongani when we arrived, joined us on our final leg to Kruger. If we thought Bongani was a luxury oasis, then the Bongani Sun Resort was sheer heaven. Located directly opposite Kruger National Park, it formed a dramatic contrast to the wilderness and roughness of the African landscape around it. Almost every conceivable luxury was available to us, and we felt more like we were in an international city hotel. The only thing missing seemed to be internet access to the World Wide Web. But who needs it when you've got nature's version right at your doorstep? As usual, we found the obligatory warning signs, again reminding us that danger lurked even here, and it was possible that without due care, we could become a lion's breakfast. The observation hut at the edge of the resort overlooked the river that separated us from Kruger. It was mid-afternoon and not much game was to be seen. However, plenty of leisurely reading was available at the hut for those quiet times. We would return here at sunset to observe the twilight activity, but now we were eager to make tracks to explore Kruger National Park itself in the remaining hours of daylight. At the entry gate to Kruger, there was a helpful information bureau with plenty of expert advice as to suitable routes and potential game locations.
No problem. Okay. Alright. You could try, if it was still early, you could try that one. But at that time,
It didn't take us long to find this happy family of elephants. All we had to do was see where other cars had stopped, and we'd be sure to find some wild game there. The term game park really took on a whole new meaning when we observed some elephants playing games with each other, totally oblivious to the fact that human spies were all around them. Nothing was going to spoil their fun. Despite the risk of being eaten alive, many of the animals in the park seem to sometimes dance to the rhythm of the bush. Albeit always with an ear open to approaching danger.
We've got to get the Jock Safari Lodge, and that's going to be about 23 k's or so along here. So. The bird we saw was the yellow-billed hornbill, and there's one just above the picture right now. We just saw a hammerkop. Afrikaans for hammerhead.
This tree perfectly symbolized the contrast between life and death so prevalent in the park. A dried out tree and a nourishing, life-giving spring. The cycle of life in Africa and the cycle of life in the whole world. And wherever there's life, there's risk and danger. As the sunset was rapidly approaching, we hurried back to the resort's observation hut to catch the local wildlife from the safety of an elevated platform. However, as earlier in the afternoon, there really wasn't too much to see. In fact, the most exciting wildlife was on the back of Mark's t-shirt. So it seemed like a good idea to enjoy a few human creature comforts and continue on to have a wonderful dinner at the hotel's poolside before settling down to a comfortable night's rest. We could never have guessed that the new day would bring so many early morning surprises compared to the evening before. The whole landscape was transformed by the glow of sunrise and the gentle mists wafting over the river. Even the wildlife was enchanted and had lost their previous shyness in making their appearance. Observing a sly croc waiting for its meal made us realize how hungry we were. So we decided to enjoy the bounteous breakfast at the resort in preparation for the long drive back to Johannesburg. As a parting gift, we were treated to the sight of a giraffe eating its breakfast just outside the resort. We had seen a lot of game in the past 2 days. Our only disappointment with our safari trip was that we didn't confront any dangerous cats. The closest we got was seeing the lions on the road. When we left the wilderness behind, we didn't leave the warning signs behind. Even back in everyday civilization here, there are constant reminders of risk. There was even the risk of being hijacked on the road, the risk of a bushfire overtaking us, and the risk of a Chernobyl-style nuclear accident within arm's reach of Johannesburg. But just when we felt confident of having reached our own familiar safe environment at Joburg Airport, one more dire warning stared us right in the face.